Now this watercolor is somewhat unique in that though it is very attractive, as a landscape it is nearly unrecognizable. So the only way to be certain of its location and to be certain about what we are looking at was to interpret the topography of the actual landscape. This is a watercolor by J.M.W. Turner titled A Distant View over Chambery from the North with Storm Clouds, dated about 1836. Chambery is an alpine village in southeast France. With most landscapes, we can see mountains and valleys, hills and streams and lakes, but in this case, I'm not really sure what I'm looking at. I'm not sure what the landscape features are. So what I think I see are mountains in the distance, a hill, and a couple of buildings sitting near the base of that hill. I'm going to begin by identifying one of those buildings, and it's the small one on the left. It's a small chapel, it sits on a hill. It's called Chapelle du Calvaire. The hill is outlined, we're going to outline that in black, and at the base of the hill is Chambery, the town, and in the distance is a mountain called Mont Granier. And for a while I didn't know the identity of that building circled in red. That is until I found this pencil sketch at the Tate by Turner titled Chambery from the North, dated 1836. There are 4 buildings circled in colors. We'll only be concerned with those in yellow and red. The building outlined in yellow is Chapelle du Calvaire, and that outlined in red is called Chapelle du Couvent. And they're the same buildings that we see in the watercolor, except in the watercolor and in the sketch, Chapelle du Couvent has a steeple, but we don't see a steeple on that building today. Let me show you. We're going to take a tour down the hill. Chapelle du Calvaire is on the left. It has the green dome. And then we're going to go past Chapelle du Calvaire to the bottom of the hill, and that building there is Chapelle du Couvent. It does not have a steeple, and that bothered me. So I contacted a society in Chambery called the Friends of Old Chambery, and they sent me these 2 photographs and an explanation. The photograph on the left is the same building, except we're looking at it from the front rather than the back, and you can see a steeple. The photograph on the right is the same building after it was bombed by Allied forces in World War II. The steeple was damaged and never rebuilt. So today it doesn't have a steeple. So let's now interpret the topography around this area. This is a Google Earth image. On this image I have a white line. That's the hill. It's actually a cliff. Below the cliff, where the red X is what I call a gently sloping hill. The red X is where Turner was standing, and you'll learn more about that later. As we go down the hill right below Chapelle du Calvaire, we see a steep drop. Now I'm going to outline this gently sloping hill on both images with this orange line. The orange area in the lower left of this watercolor is the gently sloping hill where Turner was standing. If you see the dark area just beyond it, right below Chapelle du Calvaire, that is a steep drop, and it has the appearance of a steep drop. Now let's interpret this from a different perspective. We're going to interpret this from the perspective of Turner, where he was standing where that red X is. And if he was there today, he'd see quite a bit of vegetation. I'm going to draw a red line up on top of this hill, which I believe is the top of the cliff, although it is also somewhat blocked by vegetation. Now, Google Earth Studio has a capability of flattening vegetation, but it also somewhat flattens the nearby topography. As you can see, the cliffs look flattened. I left a red line there to show where I believe the top of the cliff actually is. Now this is an interpretation, a topographic interpretation based in part on what we just saw. Now you can see the gently sloping hill outlined in that light orange, and you can see that the hill steepens on the other side of the road. The red outline of the cliff and the hill, the steep drop that is below the Chapelle du Calvaire, and the valley floor. You can see the mountains in the distance sloping toward the valley floor, you can see the mountains that are closer, they are outlined in orange, and the mountains that are further away are outlined in yellow, including Mount Grenier. I'm going to overlay the watercolor, and I want you to notice two things: how Turner exaggerated the mountains in the distance, and how well the interpretation overlays onto the watercolor. And so after interpreting the topography, we can see how Turner used color to represent that topography.